If you're a hotel general manager, how do you navigate all the complexities of daily operations? Well, you need a really precise financial compass. It's the key to turning what can often feel like chaos into real clarity. I'm pleased to welcome all of you students from Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. For all of you future leaders in hospitality, we're about to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful tools in your toolkit, the profit and loss statement. Try not to think of it as just some boring report. It's so much more than that. It's really your strategic command center. It's that monthly summary that doesn't just tell you where you are financially, but it also gives you all the critical data you need to steer the ship toward future success. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to look at the P&L as the command center, then we'll dive into analyzing revenue, scrutinizing costs, benchmarking your performance, and, most importantly, how to turn all that insight into real action. Okay, let's jump right in. First up, let's really get to grips with this financial command center. So what is a P&L statement, really? Well, you can think of it like a monthly health checkup for your hotel. It's a snapshot in time that lays out, plain and simple, all the money that came in, your revenues, and all the money that went out, your expenses. And right there, it shows you the result. Did you make a profit or a loss? The whole thing is designed to give a GM a super clear picture of the hotel's health. Now, a seasoned GM doesn't just flip to the last page and look at the bottom line. No way. They follow a system, a process, every single month. This structured review ensures nothing gets missed, and it's how you turn raw data into real actionable intelligence. All right, so let's walk through that process. Step one is always about the money coming in. Let's talk revenue. The first thing a GM does is break down the income. Where is it all coming from? You've got your room revenue, your food and beverage, and then all the other stuff. Now, while it's all important, you'll find that room revenue, that gets the most attention. Why? Well, it's usually the biggest slice of the pie, but it also tends to have the highest profit margins. And let's not forget about that other category. Ancillary revenue is a huge deal. We're talking about everything from big conference bookings and spa services to, even things like retail or parking. Each one of these streams adds up and is absolutely crucial for maximizing the hotel's overall profitability. Okay, so once you have a good handle on all the money coming in, where does your focus go next? Right. It immediately flips to the other side of the ledger, the expenses. This is all about what it costs you to open the doors every day and give your guests an amazing experience. When you look at costs, the money usually goes to a few main places: labor, general operational expenses, and, of course, taxes. Breaking this down is so important for keeping costs under control. A GM is constantly asking, are we spending our money efficiently here? Is every dollar we spend helping us generate more revenue? And it's probably no surprise to you that labor is one of the biggest and trickiest costs to manage. This is where a GM really has to zero in on productivity. It's this constant, delicate balancing act, right? You need enough staff to provide incredible service, but if you overstaff, you're just pouring profitability down the drain. All right, now we get to what I like to call the moment of truth. This is where the plan meets reality. It's time to take the actual results from the P&L and put them side by side with the budget you set for the month. The magic really happens in that variance column. All that is the difference between what you planned to happen and what actually happened. So room revenue has a positive variance, fantastic, but food and beverage fell short, a negative variance. And look at labor costs. Coming in under budget actually gives you a positive variance because it's a cost you saved. Every one of these numbers has a story. And this is exactly why this is so powerful. Those positive variances, they're your high fives. They show you what's working. But the negative variances, those are your red flags. They're waving at you, saying, hey, look over here. They pinpoint the exact spots where a GM needs to dig in and figure out what's going on. So, we've analyzed revenue, we've scrutinized costs, we've compared it all to the budget, but all of that means nothing without this final, most important step. Because analysis without action is just a waste of time. This is where the P&L becomes your superpower. Let's go back to that negative number in F&B. A good GM will look at that and then pull up the P&L from last month and the month before, and suddenly they spot a trend. It's not just a one-off bad month. Food revenue has actually been sliding down for the whole quarter. Now that is a critical insight. And because they have this hard data, the GM doesn't have to guess.
They can go to the F&B director and come up with a real strategy. Maybe it's time to launch some exciting new menu items. Or maybe they need to expand a promotion that's working. The point is, the action they take directly targets the problem the P&L helped them find.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, the ultimate goal. Every time a GM reviews the P&L, every analysis they do, every decision they make, it's all laser-focused on making the hotel run more efficiently and driving that financial growth for the future. So let's recap the big takeaways. First, the P&L is not just for accountants. It's a vital strategic tool. It gives you that crystal clear view of revenues and expenses. Comparing your performance to the budget is absolutely essential. And finally, that analysis is what fuels the smart, data-backed decisions that move the business forward. You know, this whole process, review, analyze, act, is really what separates the good managers from the truly great ones. It all comes down to a consistent, disciplined approach. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. When that first P&L statement lands on your desk, what will be the very first metric you look for to really understand the health of your hotel?